If you're a desperate housewife, Gary Halbert has some really important information that he'd like to share with you that will change your life. And for everybody else, my name is Mike Kassman, and this is another ad breakdown. Just like last time, we're going to be looking at a Gary Halbert ad, and just like last time, we're going to look at a diet strategy advertisement. A big difference with this one is that Gary Halbert uses a completely different method for establishing authority with his audience. In the last one, he used science and sophisticated testing and mysterious chemical reactions that blah blah blah. In this one, he uses a much more social approach. It would be like if you had a buddy at the gym who lost a bunch of weight and then walked up to you and was like, "Hey, I just lost 30 pounds in 30 days. Do you want me to tell you how I did it?" You would want to know, and you would know after seeing your friend that, okay, there are some concrete results. Tell me what's going on here. It's much more on that level. And so let's just take a look real quick. The headline: The Amazing Diet Secret of a Desperate Housewife. Now, it's not just meant to pique curiosity, like what diet secret does this desperate housewife have? I think it's more important than that, because as we'll see in the advertisement, the idea of a desperate housewife is the target market. It's not just the source of the diet secret. It's all about saying a desperate housewife found this diet secret, and you're a housewife, you've been trying to lose weight for years, you're desperate at this point, you can do it too. I really think that's what's going on, and I think as we look through the ad, I think that you'll agree. So let's jump right into the introduction here. My name is Nancy Pryor. I'm 35 years old. I'm a housewife and mother of 3 children. I would like to tell you something personal about myself. I think this is a direct call out and a direct identification with the target market. Nancy Pryor, the voice for this ad, is identifying herself as exactly who the ad is targeting. And so that creates an instant connection. If you are a middle-aged woman with children and you've been trying to lose weight for years, you're going to instantly identify with Nancy Pryor, and that's going to make you trust her, it's going to make you know her, and it's going to make you like her. And then we go right into Nancy's story, right into the action. It's a very highly emotional story. She talks about how she just broke down and started to cry. She talked about how she was on the brink of a nervous breakdown. And then we get some answers as to why. What I'd like to point out about this paragraph here is the amount of specificity that's in it. And as we talked about last time, specificity lends credibility. So it talks about how it was on a Monday morning. She mentions 2 months. She mentions 188 pounds. Later on, she mentions 3 weeks. All of these specifics lend believability to the story that she's telling you. And so when she's talking about, I had been dieting so well, and then I cheated for 1 weekend, and now all of the weight that I lost came back, and it was just too much to bear. That's the idea. One other thing I'd like to point out in this paragraph is the visual trigger that Gary uses again. He used it in the last diet advertisement, but he came back and used it again. Not coincidentally. It's a really powerful thing. He does it intentionally. This is Nancy Pryor speaking. It happened one Monday morning right after I got on the bathroom scales to weigh myself. The bathroom scales are a visual trigger. So Gary is putting that in there to keep the emotional roller coaster going. Then as we go down the column, what we see is Nancy's path to try to lose weight, and everything that she tried failed. Again, she goes into specifics. She talks about the fasting. She talks about hypnosis. She talks about all of the different diets that she tried, and they all failed. I think that there are a lot of women in the target market who would identify with that and instantly feel a bit of sympathy with Nancy Pryor. But as we go down the column, she starts to hint that the story doesn't end badly. There's no need for feeling sorry for me because my story has a very happy ending. That's when she starts to introduce the solution to the problem. And maybe at this point the reader's thinking, oh, interesting. If if you were able to come back from this and have a happy ending, I'd like that too. So tell me why. But the answer doesn't come quite yet. There's going to be a little bit of mystery beforehand. So she talks about a discovery that she made. And then she goes into all of the ways that she did not find the discovery. So we're getting all sorts of curiosity and mystery. So she didn't find it with doctors. She didn't find it in a medical journal. Nothing like that. She doesn't ever tell you where she got it. That's part of the intrigue. And it also sets it up to become a legitimate secret. And it helps here. I made a note that she mentions that it was an accidental discovery. People love accidental discoveries because it just begs the question of, what did you find? How did you find it? Tell me the story. And so we're going to get more of that, but not right now. Let me tell you why I think my diet secret is so fantastic. We had the introduction of Nancy. We had her history of pain, sorrow, and failure. And then we got a little taste of the happiness at the end of this road. And now she's going to tell us how she went from pain and suffering to a happy ending. And from a copywriting standpoint, I really think that this is just going down the list of pain points and going down the list of objections that people would have to a diet solution and one by one dismantling them. Once you understand what the pain points and objections are in the diet market, you'll see that Gary is basically just going down the line and just taking them out. So the first one, melts fat fast. People want to lose weight and they want to lose it quickly. And Gary gives them all of that verbiage here. It literally burns off fat by the hour. You'll lose weight between breakfast and lunch. He gives them specific time frames to expect results, which is really powerful. He says that you'll be able to measure the difference in your waistline in 24 to 36 hours. That's a pretty big promise, but with specifics, it makes it believable. You will have no hunger. Again, that's a major pain point that we touched on last time. People don't like being hungry. It makes them irritable. And so Gary says that it will be impossible for you to be hungry on this diet. He doesn't go into extensive detail, but he says that one of the unique features of this diet makes it metabolically impossible for you to experience hunger. To me, it's like heaven. If there was something that did that, that would be pretty attractive. To be able to go on a diet and lose weight that quickly without being hungry, pretty attractive. Another objection might be that when I go on diets, I feel tired, slow, and sluggish. And what does Gary Halbert say? He says, on the contrary, on this diet, you'll have nearly twice as much energy, 76%. Again, specificity makes it more believable. And he talks about how gaining that energy will start on the 5th day and will plateau at the 9th day. Specificity, giving people concrete expectations for when to have results. That's really powerful. People love it. Simple and easy. People love easy. And this is contrary to an objection that might be, well, if I go on a diet, I'm going to have to go out and buy a bunch of special groceries. I'm going to be a burden on my family. I'm not going to be able to go out to restaurants anymore because people won't have the food I want. No, 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 says Gary Halbert. You can do all of those things, and in fact, you won't even have to count calories. You won't have to measure portions. You won't even know you're on a diet, except that you're going to be losing weight. That's how simple and easy it is, and that's a pretty powerful way to say it. Healthy and safe, which is a response to the objection of, okay, well, if I'm losing weight that fast, it's probably not healthy for me. I don't want to lose a bunch of weight and then end up in the hospital for even more severe health problems. And so Gary takes this opportunity to get rid of that objection and say, on the contrary, you'll end up even more healthy than you were when you started this diet. You're seeing the trend here. He's just completely getting objections off the table. And here we have a pain point. People don't like exercise, and so Gary promises no exercise. That is pretty self-explanatory. People don't like exercise. It is difficult. It takes work. But if you could go on a diet where you could lose all the weight you could possibly want and not exercise, that would be pretty attractive, right? Automatic weight loss. That's an interesting headline to me because when I read that the first time, I imagined a big red button where you click it and the fat just melts off your body. And maybe that's exactly what Gary was looking for, because he says, since you are never hungry, you would probably forget you were on a diet if you weren't losing weight so fast. It's almost like a set it and forget it thing, where just start this diet and then it's like you won't even notice, except that you'll start looking better and your clothes will fit different and people will look at you differently, and really kind of interesting. Sounds too good to be true. Now, he's given a laundry list of extraordinary reasons that you should try this diet. And now he's going to give us 4 explanations as to why all of those things are true and why you should take Nancy Pryor's word. Reason number 1, it uses a natural food substance that eliminates hunger, and that substance looks and tastes exactly like table sugar. This just creates an extraordinary amount of curiosity. I mean, when I read this, I really wanted to figure out what the heck is this? Is it real? And he goes on to explain how you use it and why it works, just giving a little bit of reason why copy here. Again, reason number 2 is mysterious too. It doesn't tell you what's going on. This diet forces you to form a new habit. What kind of new habit? And then it just kind of teases you more and more. This habit is pleasurable and fun. It makes it possible to stay on any diet for life. And what I like most is this new habit makes everything easy. I really got to thinking after that one, what is this? And that's exactly how Gary has explained that he writes his advertisements. He wants to generate this idea of, I have to figure out what this is. Even if I'm not really interested in losing weight, I just gotta figure out what this is because this sounds amazing. Reason number 3, I believe this is a counter to an objection that people who go on diets often have to eat food that is unpleasant and that doesn't taste good. Whereas with this diet, you're going to have at least 5 new foods added to your menu, and all of them are delicious, and all of them are probably new to you. Interesting. Now, this diet won't just give you the physical transformation you're looking for, it will also give you a mental and emotional transformation. As Gary says, at exactly the same time, these foods are releasing new energy into your system. They also work to release all tension from your nerves and muscles and give you an emotional lift. Believe me, it's very hard to diet if you are upset and in a bad mood all the time. People don't like being hangry. Gary's just telling it like it is. Reason number 4, another unique food substance that releases the natural fat-burning power of your system and basically just turns your body into a calorie-burning machine. Now, we had the introduction. We learned the problem. We started to learn the solution. We figured out what benefits the solution gave us. We figured out how those benefits work. And now we're going to see what those benefits are going to look like in the life of the prospect. And that painting the picture of the future is going to happen by Nancy Pryor just telling us what she experienced. And this is what she got. This diet has been a godsend to me. I have a sparkling new body. I've lost 75 pounds. I now weigh 113 and wear a size 6 dress. I used to wear an 18. Two things I want to point out in this paragraph. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the specificity here is really good, lends a lot of credibility. I like it a lot, and it is just insanely powerful, this paragraph, because Gary combines everything that a woman in this target audience would want into a single paragraph and says, this is what I experienced. And in the next paragraph, it becomes, and you can experience it too. And since Nancy Pryor, the voice for this ad, has already identified herself as basically identical to the target market, that's a really easy leap to make from it worked for Nancy, so it can now work for me. And I just want to read the last sentence of that paragraph because that one hits pretty hard. Best of all, my husband has fallen in love with me all over again. Yeah, I'm not even a desperate housewife, and that hits pretty hard. Will this amazing little diet work for you? I am sure it will. Now we're introduced to the product, and this took me off guard the first time I read this. Here goes. I've written a book that tells you about my secret diet. It's easy to read. It tells you exactly what to do step by step. This whole time, I thought that this ad was about a new supplement or a new set of supplements or some new pills or something. No, it's about a book. And I've got some theories about why that might be. I'm not going to go into it because this video is already going longer than I wanted, but what do you think? Why was it not introduced earlier on? Why was it revealed at the very end that the product was a book instead of putting that maybe towards the beginning? Interesting thought. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. After promising a beautiful future and revealing that you can have that future if you order my book, there's all of the risk reversal, which follows in every good ad. Basically, Gary offers to let people try the book for 30 days, and if they don't like it, they can send it back. That's a pretty standard 1-month guarantee. There are two things that I would point out here. One is in the final paragraph, if you have any questions, you can call me. My number is, and there follows the phone number, and the only reason I highlight that is because it is a local area code. It's not a 1-800 number. And the area code in the phone number matches the address that he gives above. 201 is a New Jersey area code. The reason that's relevant is that when this ad went out, the people who received it were almost certainly going to be in the New Jersey area. And so if they see a New Jersey area code, they're going to be much more likely to call that number instead of a 1-800. So just keep that in mind for your own marketing if you do that. The last thing I want to mention about the no risk section is that it's just a little parenthetical comment at the very end. It is not a good idea to mail cash. I think that's just a friendly, unconventional way to end an advertisement. Normally only a real person would write that to you, and I think that just humanizes the whole thing. There are a couple of things that I would point out that I wasn't a huge fan of with this ad. I think that sometimes the language felt a little bit forced. Knowing some Nancy Pryors in my own life, I don't see any of them writing in quite this way, but I think that part of it is because Gary Halbert was restricted in space, so he couldn't take the time to elaborate and to explain the way that I think that a typical Nancy Pryor would probably take to express her emotions and her experiences. But other than that, I loved this advertisement. I think it's great. It's just another killer example of how Gary Halbert knows exactly who he's writing to, and he knows exactly what to say to them to get them to take action. And if you enjoyed it, please send me a message. Please drop a comment and let me know what you think. Take care.